Okay, so we're diving into the articles you sent about that absolutely wild Louvre heist. Really trying to pull apart, the key details behind a crime that just sounds, well, unbelievable.
It really does. And the focus today, it's the daylight robbery itself, but maybe more importantly, the security weaknesses it just laid bare.
Exactly. Forget sneaking around at midnight. The really astonishing part here, the hook, is the sheer audacity. This happened in broad daylight,
Yeah.
minutes after the museum opened its doors. Visitors were actually milling around inside.
It's incredible. And what's fascinating, or maybe worrying, is how low tech the actual brooch was. This wasn't some complex cyber attack or Mission Impossible infiltration.
Right.
It was a small team, looked very organized, and they used basically a truck with a lift on it.
You mean like a cherry picker, one of those things you see doing window cleaning or construction?
Exactly that. Just, common moving or construction equipment. They just drove up, parked it, and used the lift to get straight up to a second floor window.
Which window was it?
The Galerie d'Apollon, a really prestigious part of the museum.
Okay, but hold on. If it's common equipment, how did security not immediately flag it? A big lift going up the side of the Louvre.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think the speed is part of the answer. The whole operation, reports say, took between 4 and 7 minutes, max.
4 minutes. Wow.
So maybe the guards just glanced out and thought, oh, more construction work. It's Paris, right? There's always something being fixed or built.
And didn't some reports mention disguises?
Yeah, that helped sell the illusion. Some were apparently dressed as construction workers. It just provided this sort of visual camouflage for something incredibly brazen happening right in front of everyone.
So they're relying on people just assuming it's normal.
Precisely. And it points to where the security focus wasn't. They probably had sophisticated internal sensors, digital surveillance, alarms, but they overlooked a simple physical approach from the outside.
Like guarding the digital back door while someone climbs in the front window with a ladder.
Kind of, yeah. They were ready for James Bond, maybe, and got hit by, well, a building crew with bad intentions. And the target, it justified the risk for them.
What exactly did they take?
A significant part of the French crown jewels. Really key pieces, historically speaking. Things linked to Empress Eugénie, Empress Marie-Louise. Items absolutely central to French heritage.
So not just valuable, but historically priceless.
Yeah.
Unique items.
Absolutely. This wasn't just about melting down gold or selling diamonds. It felt like an attack on French history itself, which is why the fallout was so intense.
Yeah, you can imagine the shock, the sheer public humiliation must have been immense.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it, parking a lift on a public street right in the heart of Paris, scaling the wall of the world's most visited museum. It just screamed failure.
A massive institutional failure, yeah.
Yeah.
Exposed this really fundamental weakness in how France was protecting its most important treasures.
But beyond the embarrassment, there's something else, something even more chilling for historians and art lovers. It's about what happens next to these kinds of objects.
What do you mean?
Well, they actually recovered one piece near where the thieves escaped, the crown of Empress Eugénie.
They got it back. That's good news, right?
Sort of. It was found broken, deliberately damaged.
Oh, no. Why would they do that?
That's where this idea of provenance erasure comes in. For the black market, a famous, instantly recognizable piece like that is almost too hot to handle. Its history, its identity, makes it unsellable as is.
So they break it.
Exactly. Smash the settings, pry out the stones, melt down the gold or metal. They destroy its unique history, its provenance, so the raw materials become untraceable. Just diamonds, just gold. Much easier to sell off piece by piece.
That's incredibly cynical. Destroying history just to make a profit.
It shows the cold calculation involved. And that discovery, the broken crown, really amplified the fears about the fate of the other stolen items.
And the political reaction.
Immediate. Huge outrage, naturally. It triggered an urgent, high-level government inquiry, not just about the Louvre, but about security protocols in museums across the entire country.
So it forced a real reckoning.
Definitely. A hard look at accountability, physical security versus digital, and what protecting national heritage actually means in practice.
So wrapping this up, the takeaway for you listening is pretty stark, isn't it? This wasn't some high-tech heist. It used simple, everyday tools, a lift, a disguise.
Right. And that simplicity shattered this illusion of fortress-like security. It showed how focusing too much on complex threats can make you blind to the blindingly obvious vulnerability right in front of you.
A profound failure exposed by the most basic methods.
Which leaves us with a really tricky question to think about, doesn't it? After something like this, there's obviously a huge push for more security. But how much is enough?
What's the weight balance?
Exactly. How do you adequately protect these irreplaceable items of national heritage without turning our museums into, completely inaccessible fortresses? Where does security end and public access begin? Something to mull over.